Durham is a diverse and vibrant community rich with innovation, culture, and history. This half hour is dedicated to Durham living healthy. The program is focused on giving you helpful information to improve our community. Hi, I'm Jana, and welcome to another episode of Living Healthy. This show is brought to you by the Durham Diabetes Coalition, a partnership working towards improving the quality of life for adults living with type 2 diabetes in Durham County. We hope this show gives you the information and tools you need to take charge of your health. In this episode, we're going to find out more about community health resources. We'll also hear from local health professionals on ways to achieve better health, like buying fresh foods on a budget, cooking healthier meals, making exercise a part of your daily life, and having a healthcare team in place. A longtime Durham resident will tell us how he's changed his life since finding out he has type 2 diabetes and how the Durham Diabetes Coalition has helped him. If you can't write down all the information you see during this episode fast enough, don't worry, we'll recap everything at the end of the show. All of the information is available on the Durham Diabetes Coalition website at durhamdiabetescoalition.org. The Durham Diabetes Coalition works with many different local organizations that offer a variety of services and have been part of the community for many years. These diverse partners are what help make the Durham Diabetes Coalition so strong. Let's see what one partner, CAARE Incorporated, has to say about its relationship with the coalition.
In May of 1995, my sister and I sat at the kitchen table here in Durham. I being a nurse, she being from social background, just decided we wanted to do more with the health disparities and the poor social determinants of health that we were seeing. From that kitchen table experience, we started CAARE. So CAARE is a community-based organization. We serve primarily uninsured, underserved individuals. We have several components, but we look at the whole person. We deal with the mind, body, spirit. So what I was seeing in terms of disparities, there was a huge gap with the care that was being rendered to African Americans and other minorities as opposed to the majority. I knew that there probably needed to be a different approach, maybe lack of education, maybe access issues. So I did my research to figure out what these issues were. And so what they said was, we need transportation, we need housing, we need food. So we deal with a lot of their other issues that really contribute to poor health outcomes. So it's not a top-down model. It's really them speaking to us, telling us what's good, what they need, what we could do better, how we could improve their care. We serve about 1,000 clients a month just coming through our doors voluntarily. Because we knew we could not do it all. I mean, it's just impossible for any one entity to do it all. So we felt like we would look at the 5 top health disparities that were disproportionately affecting people, not only of color, but people of low socioeconomic status. And those were diabetes, being one of the #1, cardiovascular disease, obesity, HIV/AIDS, and cancer. So we offer a continuum of care model, including navigation with each component. For example, with HIV, we tested 3,400 people last year. We found 14 new positives. With our cancer program, we found 3 women with breast cancer and were able to get them and BSEP Medicaid to get the chemotherapy. With diabetes, not only did we detect and find new diabetics, but we also housed the first diabetes support group that was a non-church support group and had the highest attendance. Even with all the health disparities I talked about, physical activity and nutrition are the core of all of them. We have cooking classes with a partnership from the cooperative extension. So we made sure that we put a very sound program in place, and it's free. So we removed the barriers. So I think removing the barriers is one of the things that enables people to come and be a part of a process that they wouldn't ordinarily choose. I've always been in partnership with the Durham County Health Department. They've been around in all of our lives, but more specifically, we do outreach with them. We also have had meetings here with them. I'm a part of many of their initiatives. When they are short of people to go out, we go and help them. So it's been a clear partnership all along. It's everybody working together for the greater need.
It is truly inspiring to see what Dr. Elliott Bynum and the rest of the team at CAARE are doing to help the community. They have services to help just about anyone, from those without health insurance to veterans rejoining civilian life. To find out more, visit CAARE's website at care-inc.org. If you've thought about improving your health by eating more fruits and vegetables, but thought it was too expensive, nutritionist Jennifer Russ is here to show us how to eat healthy on a budget. Do you think she can cook a healthy meal for a family of 4 for $12 or less? Let's see if she can do it.
Hi, my name is Jennifer Russ. I'm a registered dietitian and certified diabetes educator with the Durham County Department of Public Health. Today we're going to purchase and prepare a delicious meal for a family of 4 for under $12. Not only is the meal going to be healthy and delicious, it's not going to break the bank. Think it can't be done? Let me show you how. Today I've chosen sweet potatoes to fill 1/4 of the plate that's meant for starchy foods. Not only are sweet potatoes an excellent source of fiber and vitamin A, they're also essentially considered in season in North Carolina all year long, so they're very economical. Now it's important to remember that when you have diabetes, sweet potatoes contain carbohydrate, but by following the plate method, you limit your portion and should not have a negative effect on your blood sugar. I've chosen to prepare a simple tossed salad to fill half of our plate. A tossed salad includes vegetables that are considered non-starchy. They're very low in calories and can really serve as your secret weapon if you're working to lose weight. In addition, when you have diabetes, because the vegetables are non-starchy, we don't expect them to affect your blood sugar level. Today I've chosen center-cut pork loin as the protein portion on our plate. It will fill about 1/4 of our plate. A portion is also considered 3 to 4 ounces, which is about the size of the palm of your hand or a deck of cards. Fresh pork loin chops are considered a leaner meat. In addition, they're low in sodium. I also can make this portion even lower in calories by trimming the visible fat once I get home. We did it. We were able to feed a family of 4 a delicious and healthy meal for under $12.
Wow, I can't believe she got all of that food for under $12, and all of it healthy, from the sweet potatoes, salad ingredients, to the lean pork cuts. We'll catch up with Jennifer a little later so she can show us a delicious way to cook the meal with plenty of flavor, but without the added fat. It can be a challenge to live a healthy lifestyle when there are barriers like the cost of healthy food. Another barrier to living a healthy, active life is having physical limitations, but it's still possible to get fit if you have a disability. And it's very important too. A local physical therapist and Durham resident will explain why.
The fitness center here is a medically supervised, medically based fitness center. And so there are physical therapists and exercise physiologists on staff. The physical therapy department offers several disease-specific rehabilitation programs at the Center for Living. So we have programs that address patients that have pulmonary problems as well as cardiac dysfunction. We also do individualized therapy with patients that have a variety of chronic conditions.
I was diagnosed back in January with heart failure. I had an aortic valve leaking. I talked to my doctor and he suggested I come over here to this heart failure class. And I started exercising through the heart failure class, and I've been here for about 10 weeks now. It's really helped out. I went from being able to walk about a quarter of a mile to about 2 miles in 10 weeks. What diabetes means to me, it's a disease that's it's a silent disease that'll kill you if you don't manage it. It's very dangerous, but it is manageable if it's type 2 diabetes. And that's what I've been trying to do, is manage mine, because mine had gotten out of control.
When a client does come in and the client has diabetes, a lot of times the client will complain about being maybe fatigued, not having enough endurance to do the activities that they want to do in their daily lives, as well as maybe just feeling not strong enough to complete some of these activities. And so really what we're doing is we're working on increasing a client's strength, their endurance levels, their balance, their flexibility, and helping them get back to doing the things that they want to do every day.
The transition from not being active to active was very hard. I was pretty lazy. I didn't want to do anything. I enjoyed sitting and watching TV, and every time I would think about exercising, I was like, well, I'll get out when it's a little bit cooler, or I'll do it in the morning. And I just didn't have that willpower to get out there and do it. And the doctor pretty much told me, either you exercise and improve yourself, or you're going to get worse and die.
When Lewis first came to us, his biggest complaint was his endurance level, that he really couldn't tolerate even much activity out in the community, because he couldn't walk as far as he wanted to do. He became very fatigued very easily and just had to take a lot of rest breaks. And so he wasn't able to go do the things that he wanted to do.
So I decided to go ahead and start exercising. And it was tough at first. Like I said, when I first started walking, I could walk about a quarter mile. And I would get tired and give out, and I'd say, well, I've had enough of this, you know, I don't want to do this anymore. But you get to thinking in the back of your mind, so, well, it beats dying, so that's a good motivation.
Lewis's attitude has been phenomenal the entire time that he's been here, and I actually think that that's one of the most important things that you can take into when you begin an exercise program. What we've seen is just a huge progression in terms of what he's been able to do. He's tolerating now a good 45 minutes of activity, and I know, just a couple weekends ago, he actually went up with his fiance to the mountains and spent the weekend hiking. So he is doing a lot more out in the community. He's a lot more active, and he's really doing what he wants to do now with no limitations.
My eyesight has improved. My blood sugar levels have definitely decreased, and I'm hoping to be off insulin within about 6 months.
Every day I come to work, and it's such a wonderful feeling to work with clients and see their progress and hear their stories about the things that they're now able to do. It is a very rewarding profession, and I'm so glad that I chose it.
Doing exercise with the neuropathy has been challenging, but it's doable, you know. It's not a reason not to exercise. You know, you have to give yourself self-motivation to do this. I could just give up and say, well, you know, I've got diabetes and there's nothing I can do about it, but it is something you can do about it.
Sean shared some great information about his role as a physical therapist. He's passionate about helping patients like Lewis increase their endurance so they can enjoy life to the fullest. And Lewis has made great progress in getting his health back on track after making the decision to get active despite his challenges. What you eat can play a big part in improving your health. Let's join Jennifer in the kitchen as she prepares the meal she bought earlier in the show.
Before I start preparing our meal today, I want to make sure that I wash my hands with warm water and soap. And I'm going to wash my hands for about 20 seconds. So we're going to be preparing our roasted sweet potatoes now. And before I start peeling the sweet potato, I'm going to go ahead and spray my baking sheet with some non-stick cooking spray, because my hands are probably going to be messy in a second. Okay, and I'm going to be peeling my sweet potato with a vegetable peeler. Okay, now that I'm done peeling the potato, I'm going to cut it. And I'm cutting it in about 1-inch cross sections. And then I'm going to cut each of those in half and quarter them. So now that I'm done cutting the potatoes, I'm going to be placing them in a 1-gallon Ziploc bag. And we'll be able to more evenly coat the potatoes. So we've got all of our potatoes in the Ziploc bag, and now I'm going to take about 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and I'm going to just dump them into the bag. And I'm also going to take a tablespoon of cinnamon and just a pinch of black pepper. I'm going to seal my Ziploc bag and give it a shake. See how we're getting nice even coating on the potatoes of all that cinnamon? And you guys can't smell it, but it smells delicious. Okay, and remember I already have a prepared cookie sheet with cooking spray on it, and I'm just dumping the sweet potatoes into the baking sheet, spreading them out into a single layer, and they're ready to put in the oven. And I've already preheated our oven at 425 degrees, and they'll be ready in about 20 minutes. Remember, about halfway through baking our sweet potatoes, we're going to take them out of the oven and turn them and then return them back to the oven. First, I'm going to prepare a dry rub for our pork chops. I'm going to use lemon pepper and garlic powder to season. They're both low sodium. I'm going to take 1 teaspoon of lemon pepper and 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, mix them together, and then sprinkle both sides of our pork chops with the mixture. Now I'm going to take our pork chops over to the stove. I've already preheated a tablespoon of olive oil in a fry pan over medium-high heat. I'm going to let them sear on this side for about 3 minutes, and then I'll return to the pork chops to flip them over. It's been 3 minutes, so I'm going to go ahead and flip our pork chops. Our pork chops have had a chance to cook on each side for 3 minutes. Now I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of water. Now I'm going to place a lid on the pan and let our pork chops simmer for about 5 minutes. Our pork chops have been simmering now for about 5 minutes. I'm going to remove the pork chops from the pan and place them on a clean plate. Oh, they look beautiful. Next, I'm going to create a really yummy sauce to go with our pork chops. I'm using the pan drippings and adding 3 tablespoons of lemon juice. I'm going to stir it around for about a minute. It's thickening up a little bit and it smells really good. Now I'm going to pour the drippings from the pan onto the pork chops. Today I've chosen to prepare a simple tossed salad as a non-starchy vegetable for our meal. I've taken a head of romaine lettuce and washed it and torn it into small bite-sized pieces. I've also peeled and chopped both a carrot and a cucumber. I'm going to pair my salad today with a low-fat balsamic vinaigrette. It contains 70 calories in a 2 tablespoon serving, which is half of a typical full-fat salad dressing. A 1/4 of our plate today we're filling with a protein food, and today we've chosen a lean pork loin chop. Another 1/4 of our plate we're filling with a starchy food. Today we've roasted delicious sweet potatoes. And finally, a half of our plate is filled with a non-starchy vegetable. Today we've made a simple tossed salad and added a low-fat balsamic vinaigrette. I'd encourage you to have water with your meal or 8 ounces of a low-fat milk.
Oh, that meal looks so good. I'm ready to go cook it myself. It really is possible to prepare a healthy, balanced meal for your family for less than the price of eating out at a fast food restaurant. The key to shopping healthy on a budget is buying produce in season and looking out for store sales. Getting the news from a doctor that you have type 2 diabetes is what motivates some people to take control of their health. That's what happened with one Durham resident.
I was in the hospital 3 days for my diabetes. I was going to the bathroom about 20, 30 times a day. I was getting really tired. Well, the last day at work, I went home early, and the next day I called in, and my friend was like, "You don't usually be laying around, you know, you might need to go to the doctor." My color had got darker, and I was really dehydrated. The next day I checked in at the emergency. They brought me back and took my sugar. They was like, they gonna have to admit me in the hospital. I had a 869 sugar level. They was gonna have to give me some fluid, and I was like, they could give me anything cause how I was feeling at the time. So once they started to give me the fluid, they gave me 2 bags, and it dropped down to like 400. Well, they connected me with the program at the health department in Duke with a nurse clinician, a social worker, and a nutrition. I have 5 kids. They've been real supportive. They've been right by my side. They keep a check on me. I stayed with my son like the first 2 or 3 weeks so I wouldn't be by myself. I didn't want to be by myself at the time. I was kind of nervous when I was like taking the shots and stuff at first, checking my blood sugar. I needed support. I still basically do what I usually do now, but at first my body had to get used to like the insulin and stuff getting adjusted because I still was kind of tired at first. Well, I never liked needles, but I knew that I had to take them to control my diabetes. I had to get my sugar level, my insulin level back into my body, so I really didn't have a choice. So I just put it in my mind. I'm take every 3 days or 4 days, I'd come off one of my shots if my sugar is under 100. So it's been on and I'm down, 2 shots down, and it's still under 100. I exercise and ride my bike. I feel wonderful. A lot of people think that if they wait and take time that things will get better. I would say not wait. Go and get a checkup.
It's amazing that Ronnie's blood sugar started at 869 and it's now under 100. He really wanted to stop taking insulin, so he used that goal to prompt his lifestyle changes, like biking regularly and paying more attention to what he eats. I'm sure Ronnie will achieve that goal that he set for himself. Ronnie had members of his diabetes care team help him get to where he is today. If you have diabetes, you should have a team as well. Your primary care physician can help you coordinate one. Let's find out who's important to have on your care team.
So as a doctor who cares for patients with diabetes, I often rely on my care team, and there can be different members of the care team. For example, a primary care physician, often an endocrinologist, a diabetes educator who can have different backgrounds, a nurse, a social worker, a dietitian, and perhaps a community health worker. And often a pharmacist plays a really critical role as well. There are a number of things that the care team really does a lot better than I can do as a physician. One is they often can spend more time with the patient, and they can answer questions, they can review materials. They also can spend time with the patient exploring feelings around diabetes. You know, it's something that a lot of people find frightening or disappointing or upsetting, and sometimes those negative feelings can get in the way with the person really taking care of themselves well. And oftentimes it's the support of the care team and that relationship that really helps that person to change and to do the right things to better care for themselves. So I think it's important for a patient to know before they meet a member of the care team what to expect. What is it that this person might be able to offer them? So, for example, before I have my patient meet with the diabetes educator, I let that individual know, well, here's the kinds of things that this person can cover with you, here's some questions that you might ask, and here's how they fit into your team. They need to understand that that person has a particular skill set or knowledge base that might be helpful, and it goes beyond what I can do as the physician. For example, if I'm referring to a pharmacist, that might be about medication dosages or how to best use medication, but that probably isn't the right person to ask about food choices or diabetic foot care. So the patient does much better if they know what services and what kinds of special expertise that individual might bring to their team. So someone who I'm seeing back for routine diabetes care, I'm always checking their feet routinely, making sure their blood sugars are under control. Blood pressure control is very important for diabetics. We take a lot of interest in their cholesterol. Sometimes people need cholesterol medication. We want to make sure that's okay. And we're always screening for complications, including checking circulation or a person's ability to feel in their feet. We refer them for an eye exam. Typically it's once a year to make sure they don't have complications there. And then we're also looking for things like, has the person had any other complications which can affect many parts of the body? For example, the heart, the stomach or intestines. A person with diabetes would be at higher risk for a stroke. So these are the sorts of things that we're always checking for when we see back our diabetic patients.
And your cholesterol, there are two different parts.
I've had quite a number of people after their diagnosis come back after they've really started caring for themselves, eating better, exercising, quitting smoking, these sorts of behaviors, and saying, boy, the diabetes really got me to change in a way I really needed to. And it was maybe one of the best things that happened to me, because now I feel like I'm much healthier because I'm caring for myself much better.
It will take several healthcare professionals working together to help you manage your diabetes and prevent or delay complications. Like Dr. Greenblatt said, it's important to have specialists on your team so they can really take the time with you to review your diet, goals, medications, and issues you may be having. It's that time again. Our 30 minutes of living healthy is just about over. In this episode, we've seen what services CARE provides to Durham, how to shop and cook a healthy meal for a family of 4 on a budget, how to get active despite physical challenges, what lifestyle changes one Durham resident made after getting diagnosed with type 2 diabetes, and who should be on your diabetes care team. For more on what CARE offers, you can visit their website at care-inc.org. To find out more about services offered by the Duke Center for Living, visit dukehealth.org. And for the recipes seen on today's episode, go to the Durham Diabetes Coalition website at durhamdiabetescoalition.org. Find resources and tips from all of our episodes at durhamdiabetescoalition.org. You can also call us for information at 919-560-7600. We'll see you next time. I'm Jana, and this is Living Healthy.